Welcome back to being the best version of yourself. I'm your host, Dr. Carey Heller. Alright, today we're going to talk about something really cool that I'm definitely really passionate about, the idea of incorporating movement into your day. So on the one hand, if you think about the idea of movement during the day, it probably seems pretty simple and logical, right? Alright, well, it may seem fairly logical. For a lot of people, especially in today's society, a lot of people have jobs where they're sitting at a desk all day, or especially the pandemic and more things still being virtual, or maybe sitting even more so than they might otherwise. Think about even commuting. If you're jumping on the metro and, going to a job, you're probably at least walking to the metro or, when you get off the metro. So, there's obviously a little bit of a different, or even if you work in, let's say, a big office building, there's probably more movement than you might get if you're home all day. So whether you're someone that gets very little movement in right now or would like to get more movement in, it's important to think about how to incorporate this naturally. So first of all, getting a good workout in, vigorous exercise from a health perspective certainly has a lot of benefits. But in addition to that, or if for a reason you can't sort of get a more in-depth workout in, being able to at least get some physical activity in throughout the day can be really helpful. And so while it seems very simple, a lot of people don't really have a good idea how to incorporate that into their day. So we're going to talk a little bit today about some very simple ways to do that. Okay, so in terms of some simple ways for incorporating movement into your day, first of all, trying to make it flow naturally in the context of whatever your schedule is can work well. So if you're someone that can easily take a lot of breaks, getting up from your desk or wherever you are, going for a walk, or if you have a type of job where maybe you go from one client's house or business to another, or maybe whatever it is where you're moving around throughout the day, think about when you have if you have time between appointments, go for a quick walk, or if you can, even let's say you're meeting someone to try to make a sale, see if you could go for a walk with them and get that physical activity naturally, as naturally as possible. Alright, so if it's hard to take breaks or fit movement in kind of more naturally between things, the next best thing to do, or in some ways can even be better depending on how you look at it, is to incorporate movement while you're working. So I'm actually doing that right now. As I'm recording this, I'm actually standing on a balance board. So things like a balance board, or I don't know if, obviously this is a podcast, I can't really show you a visual of my desk area, but I have a desk elliptical underneath, a desk Stairmaster, and a bike. And so it's fun because, while I'm sitting at my desk, returning emails or sitting, doing some sort of meeting or something, I can sometimes, pedal. And so it's great because, I'm maybe not getting, high intensity workout in, because I'm not going at that fast a pace if I'm trying to work. But the idea is I'm getting more or less constant movement throughout the day whenever I'm pedaling, or, at the standing desk. Sometimes I can stand up and, do various things, especially if it's, editing something I've been sitting for a while, then it's great. I can just stand up while and continue working. So, and the thing also is a lot of these things that I'm talking about are not things that, they're not thousands of dollars or anything that's extravagant. I mean, these are for example, a desk bike you can buy on Amazon for, $25, $30. Or ellipticals are probably, depending on which one you buy, I mean, they sell certainly some for about $100, maybe a little less. Balance boards maybe $20, and Amazon sells desktops for, I don't know, maybe about $100, give or take a little bit. I mean, certainly I'm sure there are ones that are far more expensive than that, but the point is that, the things we're talking about for movement are not things that, are sort of extravagant that, you sort of have to have, a certain job or, company that pays for it. These are things that, within reason you could probably be able to get that, may make things a lot better in terms of the ability to get more movement in throughout the day. Okay, so in addition to just getting general movement in, thinking about your positioning, well, maybe it's not direct movement can make a difference. So, for example, if you're sitting in the exact same position all day, that's probably not the healthiest. But if you're able to sit on things like a yoga ball or a yoga ball chair, at this point, I've actually now moved from the balance board, and now I'm sitting on the yoga ball chair as I'm recording this part of the podcast. So there's definitely a lot that you can do in order to, get movement in throughout the day. And if you think about it, in recording this, from moving from the balance board to the yoga ball chair, I also create additional movement for myself. So you can also just, even from one movement activity to the other, there's a lot that you can do. Alright, so the real takeaway message from today's podcast is if you would like to get more movement in, even if you have to sit at a desk all day, there are options to do that. So, having to sit at a desk all day, it does not mean that you can't move around and get movement in. I mean, that's I think really the bottom line of this. So I hope this has been helpful in getting you thinking for yourself of what you can do to get more movement in, which in turn can hopefully help you to be healthier, happier, and more productive. Until next time, I'm Dr. Kerry Heller.